So Black Ops 4 released just about 5 months ago, and we've seen a total of 13 different title updates go live, with the 14th approaching alongside a plethora of various hotfixes and game settings updates that were important but just not big enough to be included in an actual patch. Either way though, the game has had a lot of updates, both in the form of gameplay adjustments and content introductions. But now, 5 months down the road, there is still a lot of stuff that the game is lacking, or I guess missing. And with that, today we're going to be breaking down 9 of the most needed features that we have yet to see added to Black Ops 4. What's up guys, Zach or Immortal here, welcome back to the channel and thanks for stopping by. Of course, if you guys enjoyed today's video, feel free to drop a like on it as it does really help out the channel. And if you are brand new here and you'd like to stay up to date with everything Black Ops 4 related, definitely consider subscribing with your post notifications turned on, that way you'll never miss another upload. Now let's get into what exactly Black Ops 4 still needs going forward. For starters, I feel like the grind factor of this game is quickly losing its place, and there's a pretty solid chance that for some players, it is already gone. As it stands currently, there are a ton of Call of Duty is dead comments and memes going around, and while personally I don't necessarily agree with those comments all too much, there's no denying people are losing interest in the game as time goes on. To combat that, I feel like players need more content to look forward to that they can earn naturally through playing the game frequently. For instance, bribes and contracts. This is a feature that we've seen time and time again in the past, including in Black Ops 3. However, here in Black Ops 4, we have yet to see any form of contract, community contract, or bribe system implemented, which to me is definitely a bummer. Grinding out the triple play and Grand Slam contracts back in BO3 gave me a great reason to stay up a little later at night and play just a couple of extra matches so that I could get closer to unlocking some guaranteed DLC weapons. And even looking back to World War II, the contract system in that game I think was vastly underappreciated. You could unlock weapons and variants directly through certain contracts or sign up for various other contracts that would reward you with armory credits, which then in turn you could spend on weapons as well. So either directly or indirectly, contracts in World War II also allowed you to gain access to in-game content naturally. Those features were huge for keeping players active and involved with the game, and I can only speculate that the lack of contracts and bribes here in Black Ops 4 is at least partially to blame for some players already walking away. And with things like mastercrafts and signature weapons being introduced to the content stream within the black market, I feel like those would be some pretty solid rewards for some potential bribes and contracts in the future, and maybe just maybe a little bit down the road, that could become a reality. The second update that Black Ops 4 has yet to see thus far into its lifespan is some better prestige master rewards. This goes hand in hand with the grind factors that I brought up earlier, and while getting to 10th prestige and then master prestige is a pretty hefty grind in and of itself, the rewards definitely do not feel worth the effort, at least at this point. Currently, you've got some extra level icons from previous Black Ops games unlocked at every 100 levels, but as far as rewards go, they start and stop there. Adding in some sort of cool specialist outfits or even some exclusive mastercraft variants could be some awesome additions to the currently very short list of master prestige rewards. And those are just a few things that I could think of off the top of my head right now. I'm sure that there are plenty of other alternatives as well, and I think it's certainly a shame that grinding out hundreds upon hundreds of levels only rewards you with a few different icons next to your name. Continuing on, the next update is something that I personally am a very big advocate of, and that is additional operator mods. Operator mods are hands down one of my favorite new additions here with Black Ops 4, as I think they really add a sort of personality to certain weapons, and time again they've had me using weapons that I previously would not have, just so I can mess around with some sort of alternative attachment that, in most cases, makes the weapon perform very differently. The crossbar mod for the Hades, the belt fed mod for the Cordite, and the pentaburst mod for the Swordfish are just a few of the op mods that I find myself using on a regular basis, and I do seriously wish that every single weapon in the game had its own unique operator mod to use. Now, I get that the addition of new operator mods would be adding yet another thing to the list of items that Treyarch would have to monitor and then balance, but as far as replayability goes, using operator mods, and in a hypothetical case, new operator mods, would add a ton of it to the game. And quick little side note, I also think it is kind of disappointing that none of the new DLC weapons so far have had any operator mods to use, as I think that would be just another reason to grind out those tiers in order to get your hands on a brand new weapon and also a brand new operator mod. On top of that, the fourth update that I'm pretty surprised we haven't seen so far is more frequent additions of mastercraft variants. Grand Heist did add a handful of new mastercrafts into the game with the KN-57 Kurumaku and the Outlaw High Noon and whatnot, but the amount of mastercrafts that we've seen in total so far here in Black Ops 4 is certainly less than I'd like, to be honest. Following suit with the operator mods, I think it would be great to have a mastercraft variant available for each and every single weapon here in BO4's arsenal, and I think that we're certainly getting to that point, but I'd much prefer that date to come sooner rather than later. Update number 5 that I think Black Ops 4 really needs is some sort of option to disable DLC matchmaking. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying that I am not a video game developer, and for what it's worth, I really do not understand the whole process that goes into making a video game. But I am not blind to the fact that my matchmaking has been severely limited ever since I installed the first DLC maps on my PS4. Now, Xbox and I believe PC too, you guys sort of drew the lucky straw here because from what I understand, you guys actually straight up have the option to delete the DLC maps individually. However, on PlayStation 4, they are actually automatically installed into an update and thus cannot be deleted. Now, I already paid for the season pass and I've got no issue with that, but personally, even though some of the DLC maps are kind of fun to play on for a bit, I would much rather be able to connect to lobbies more efficiently than play on a bonus map in 1 out of every 20 games that I play. The way I see it, adding in a disable DLC button similar to what we had back in Modern Warfare 3 would combat this prominent issue of spending minutes at a time searching for a match or constantly reconnecting to the same lobby over and over again. Yeah, it's definitely not the biggest feature ever, but for someone like me who avidly plays the game and would much rather connect to lobbies quicker and more often, it'd be a much appreciated update. Moving on down the list, the 6th update that I think needs to happen actually has to do with League Play. The current League Play system certainly is different in some good ways and some bad ways. Undeniably though, one of the worst things about this League Play system is that it is essentially time-based League Play and not skill-based League Play. I say that because reaching a higher rank in any given division or ladder really is not that dependent on skill, but rather more dependent on time. Of course, you gotta be good enough to win some matches here and there, that's just a given, but players who have more free time on their hands are inevitably going to reach those higher tiers and higher ranks in their ladder because the game rewards you for wins individually and doesn't punish you for losses in as harsh of a fashion as it has in years past. Thus, you could essentially have a scenario where someone who wins 30 games and loses 15 games could beat out someone for a ladder rank who won 25 games and only lost 7 games. That to me is putting across that free time is far more valuable than skill, and in a competitive scene like the World League, that just doesn't seem right. The next items on the list are actually a bundle, if you will, and with that, updates number 7 and 8 that we are somehow still waiting for are combat records and leaderboards. Yes, I know this has been rehashed time and time again, but that's only because combat records, at least in a public form, are still missing, and even worse, Call of Duty updated their API recently to block third-party sites from tracking stats, so now there is literally zero way to see how players around the world are doing compared to you. Now obviously this is not something that most players care about too much, but the ability to see other players' stats and compare them on a leaderboard is something that a smaller niche of people seriously do enjoy being able to see. People like my buddy Korean have put days upon days of playtime into getting that #1 spot on the leaderboards, and now that that option is non-existent, there is certainly a loss of interest in grinding to an extent in the eyes of quite a few players. Now the 9th update and final update that I think Black Ops 4 could use is kind of outlandish, but you'll see where I'm going with it by the time the video ends. Dark Matter is currently one of the most sought after features in the game. It is the ultimate camo, so to speak. But seeing as we can actually unlock Dark Matter in multiplayer, zombies, and Blackout now, I don't see why we don't have some form of super Dark Matter camo that can be unlocked by unlocking Dark Matter in MP, zombies, and Blackout. Now obviously this would be an absolutely insane grind, but in all honesty I do see this update as something that is somewhat realistic in a sense, because Treyarch themselves actually said they wanted Black Ops 4 to be a game that people would be playing for years to come. And if some sort of super dark matter was implemented into the game, that would certainly be an objective that would take players a very, very long time to accomplish, and thus I think it is something that would be pretty neat to see make its way into the game. With that being said though, that is 9 updates that Black Ops 4 needs as of right now. Of course, if you guys have any other ideas for some new updates, drop me a comment down below and let me know what they are. I'd love to hear them. If you guys did enjoy the video, feel free to drop a like on it, as it is much appreciated. And last but not least, if you are new here to the channel and you'd like to stay up to date with everything Black Ops 4 related, feel free to subscribe with your post notifications turned on. Once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.